What's up, guys? Thorias here, and today Entertainment Weekly gave us our first look at Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel film. I believe this is our first official anything with this movie, so I thought I would do a quick video and give my first impressions. Because I've been very curious about this project for a while now. Carol Danvers has always seemed to me like an often misused character, but one that has a lot of potential when used correctly. So I've been excited about this project for a long time. The Captain Marvel comics, not so much. So, yeah, this is happening at a really weird time for Marvel Studios. There's a lot of hype about this movie. It's their first solo film to feature a female hero in the lead role, which people have been clamoring for years now. And somehow Captain Marvel got it done before Black Widow. Sorry, Scarlett, just the luck of the draw, I guess. So they've got a bona fide Oscar winner playing the title character, a lot of great talent involved. Apparently there's positive buzz for this going around Disney right now. So there's some pressure here. There's a lot riding on this movie to be good and perform very well. But it's also coming together at a time when the Captain Marvel comics are a complete shit show. I mean, they can't give those things away right now, and for good reason. So it's anyone's guess how this film is going to turn out. I've only kind of glanced at these. I haven't seen all the pictures in this article yet, so these are my initial reactions. Let's see what Marvel came up with. Okay, so here's our first look. We got Brie Larson, Carol Danvers, in the official Captain Marvel suit, not the prototype Kree suit, which we saw in the leaked photos that were not well received. Now this is the official one, and already this is a huge improvement. We got the right colors. It's not that bright, it's nice and dark, but we got the proper colors. We got blue, red, gold. Nope, none of that black and green stuff. I actually like the black and green. I thought that looked alright, but this is good. It looks like the suit is supposed to look. Best of all, it looks like it fits. It's form-fitting, it looks militaristic in keeping with that Air Force background, and it's nice and tight. It's not like cheesecake or anything like that. It looks like a military uniform, and it looks like it fits, best of all. And for reference, let's bring up the leaked pictures of the original suit, and yeah, immediately we can see something's not right about this. It looks ill-fitting. It doesn't look good. I actually kind of like the color scheme. I thought it looked alright, but this is not the Captain Marvel suit that we know. So I figure maybe this is taking place in flashbacks, and she'll switch to the proper Captain Marvel suit at some point in the movie, and I'm guessing that's what they're going to do. But this is not a flattering suit. It doesn't look like it fits well. I don't know what they were going for here. This, right here, this looks good. I like this. Let's take a look at the next one. I'm encouraged. Let's see what they got to say here. The film sidesteps the traditional origin story template, and when it begins, Carol already has her powers. Alright, I'm not too crazy about that. I like the origin story. Their origin stories have all worked very well so far, so I don't know why they deviate from that formula. I mean, Marvel does have a formula. We all know what it is. I mean, there are things about that formula that they could deviate from, like the hero fighting a dark reflection of themselves in the first movie, but I don't know why they bypassed the origin itself. That's odd. Hopefully they'll cover that in flashbacks at least. She's left her earthly life behind to join the elite military team Star Force on the Kree planet of Hala. Its members include Carol, Korath, Chairman Hansu, returning from Guardians of the Galaxy, and Minerva. Crazy Rich Asians, Jimmy Chan. Okay, so obviously flashbacks here of Chairman Hansu's character is in there. They're all wearing the black and green, so heavily entrenched in Kree. We also have Ronan The Accuser over here. So I guess this is still back in the 1990s when this film is supposed to take place. I assume there's going to be some type of time jump at some point in the movie, but this is, we're in flashback territory here. We got Ronan, we got Jaimin Hansu's character. Okay, things look alright so far. Let's keep going. Jude Law plays the commander of Star Force. Yeah, I believe he's playing Marvel, who views Carol as a mentee and pet project. These extraordinary powers she has, he sees them as something of a blessing and something that she has to learn how to control, Law says. That's a motif throughout the piece. The element of learning to control one's emotions and to use your powers wisely. Yeah, I believe he's playing Marvel, so if she already has her powers at this point, that means they've made some serious changes to the origin. They're tinkering with the origin, they're deviating from the comics, and ordinarily I'm against that But at the same time, like I said, the comics, they ain't so good right now. So maybe deviating from the comics is not such a bad idea. I believe the writers did an interview at one point where they said, "Yeah, we can't do we couldn't use anything in the comics," and I'm not surprised. I believe there was a recent story in the Captain Marvel comics where Carol has kind of become a fascist. She's locking up innocent people in an illegal prison, denying them due process and all that stuff. And yeah, that probably wouldn't make for a good movie. At least not the kind of movie Marvel wants to tell with their first female-led film. So, but I like this. Learning self-control, learning how to control your powers, learning how to control one's emotions, using your powers wisely. So there's a journey there. There's room for development there. You never can tell with when films take a kind of a feminist bent, and we have had hints that this film might be going in that direction. So it's one of those things I was worried about. But if she's got some kind of emotional journey, if she's a flawed character, that's promising, because we got to treat this like a character and not just, the bestest female hero ever. And okay, the film introduces one of Marvel's oldest, nastiest, most notorious baddies, the Skrulls. Okay, I am not a fan of this. This looks kind of underwhelming to me. I don't know, maybe they'll juice it up with CGI or something. Right now, these look very Star Trek. Not to shit on Star Trek if you like Star Trek. I kind of like Star Trek. I'm not a hardcore Trekkie or anything. But I appreciate it from time to time. But this looks a little bit too much like TV Star Trek. Just the bumpy-headed aliens with some makeup on their faces, otherwise look completely human. And, I mean, they don't look terribly inaccurate to the comics, but at the same time, I mean, you could juice it up a little bit. Maybe you didn't have to do the whole thing practically. I appreciate when films do as much practically as they can. This, maybe, I don't know, maybe they could have greased maybe they can grease the wheels with a little bit of CG. Ben Mendelsohn plays their leader, Talos. I do like Ben Mendelsohn. So that's good. Seen here in all his bright green glory, but he's got another face too. Another face, huh? As any Marvel Comics fan knows, the Skrulls are especially dangerous because of their unparalleled ability to shapeshift. On Earth, Mendelsohn's Talos goes undercover as a human working within S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not easy being green, Mendelsohn quips. But it is easy to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D., apparently. What the hell? I mean, apparently there were Hydra agents infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. for decades, and now you're telling me there were Skrull agents infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. too? How many infiltrators did this fucking organization have? I mean, who was in charge of security? Or was the person in charge of security a Hydra agent, or an AIM agent, or an agent from or someone from the Masters of Evil working undercover or something? I don't know. But they already went to the well with this pretty heavily in Winter Soldier. Now you're telling me there's another undercover agent working in S.H.I.E.L.D., and this time it's a Skrull? I don't know about that, guys. I don't know about that. But let's keep going. MCU fans have met the Kree race before in Guardians of the Galaxy. Two familiar faces, Hansa's Korath and Lee Pace's Ronan the Accuser, will appear in Captain Marvel Guardians. Ronan is an outcast with extremist views. Here, he's still a high-ranking member of Kree society. Okay, so maybe before Ronan the Accuser's fall from grace, I'm not too crazy about them bringing him back. I thought he was one of the weaker parts of Guardians of the Galaxy, the first film. He's one of those characters that kind of fell into the trap of the traditional Marvel weak villains. More recently, they've been doing a better job with their villains. He was one of the weaker ones, definitely. The two-dimensional, just want to kill them all and let God sort them out type of villain. Not really a lot going on there, not many layers to Ronan the Accuser, but, I mean, if this is coming at a different time in his life, maybe we can see a different side of him before he went all evil incarnate and stuff like that. But, I mean, the fact that Ronan the Accuser is appearing in this, it's not much... That's not a lot to convince... It's not going to do much to convince me to see the movie. I'm still going to see it. Not because of Ronan the Accuser, though. I mean, he's a familiar face, that's about it. Oh, we also get to see Jude Law in his Mar-Vell suit. I don't hate it. Still kind of looks a little bit ill-fitting. Maybe it's just the black and green suits? I don't know. I'm ambivalent to that. Maybe we need a better shot of it. There are a lot of ads on this site, Jesus. Back on Earth, the 1990s are in full swing. Expect plenty of appropriate references and fashion, judging by Carol's 9 Inch Nails t-shirt. Yeah, appropriate references and fashion. Yeah, about that, I think eventually it dawned on me why Carol's hair looks so weird in these pictures here. If this is in the 1990s, the reason her hair looks like that is probably because Carol had the Rachel. I hope her hair won't be like that for the entire film. I mean, it was a popular hairstyle back in the day, but I wouldn't want her to go through the whole thing like that. Here, her hair looks fine here. Oh boy, look at that. Captain Marvel marks Samuel L. Jackson's ninth appearance as Nick Fury, but this Nick is a lowly S.H.I.E.L.D. desk jockey. Okay, so maybe this is Nick Fury before he went all badass and started cracking down on security. So maybe his predecessor was really light on security, and that's how the Skrull infiltrators made it through the front door. Who knows? A lowly S.H.I.E.L.D. desk jockey who hasn't met any superheroes. He's younger than we've ever seen him. Jackson was digitally de-aged for the role, and perhaps most shocking of all, he's missing his signature eye patch. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation that we might see how he got the eye patch in this film. I gotta say, the de-aging technology looks great. They have come a long way since that very creepy-looking Flynn in Tron Legacy. I love Tron Legacy, but I'll be the first to admit the de-aging stuff had not been perfected at that time. He looked, yeah, that was some Uncanny Valley shit right there. But Sam Jackson looks great here. They have definitely leveled up that technology since then. It looks really, really good. I don't know about Fury being a desk jockey. Desk jockey, really? Well, I guess the before picture had to look different somehow. See, even before she became Captain Marvel, Carol was an accomplished Air Force pilot, and Larson spent time with actual pilots for research. That's good. You got her in her fighter pilot there, looking like a pilot, wearing the flight suit. She doesn't look inappropriate. She looks like she belongs there. Good. I like what I'm seeing so far. Okay, here we go. The film also introduces Lashana Lynch as Maria Rambeau, one of Carol's oldest friends. She's a top-notch Air Force pilot with the call sign Photon, and she's also a single mother to a young daughter. I assume the young daughter is Monica Rambeau. That's cool. Although I think it is a little bit convenient that this woman has a call sign Photon that perfectly describes the powers that her daughter will one day possess. I know call signs come from weird places sometimes. I'm not in the military. I don't know how all this works. But Photon? How does one get a call sign Photon? It's a little too cutesy-poo for me. I could do without that. But, yeah, she looks all right. She looks fine. So presumably we're going to be getting... again, this is pre-time jump, and then post-time jump, we'll get to see Monica Rambeau and see her become her superhero identity from the comics, Photon. I don't know if that'll happen in this movie, probably not. But we might see Monica Rambeau as a little girl, and then maybe she comes back to present day. We'll see her as an adult, or maybe we'll see that in a sequel. All right, looking good. Nothing bad so far. Okay, this cover. I prefer the official still from the movie. Here, I don't like this. There's some pretty obvious photoshopping going on. They've obviously, smoothed out her face a little bit. Maybe kind of cinched up the body in some places. It's not too obvious, but you can tell there's been some work on this image. And also, okay, look at this. The future is female. Your very first look at the galaxy's newest and most powerful star. I can't... Yeah, they cut it off right there. Okay, the most powerful. Yeah, apparently Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, is supposed to be the most powerful superhero we've seen in the Marvel Studios films so far. They're really hammering this home hard. They've been saying this a lot. Oh, she's the most powerful superhero we've ever seen, and it's the first female character. She's the most powerful hero yet. Is that necessary? Okay, I get that it's kind of a big deal, but this is where the fears about the feminist agenda come in. And I know the MCU movies have kind of earned our trust in this regard up until this point, but considering the state of the comics right now and how they've gone hardcore SJW in the last couple of years, it is a concern that I think is valid. So every time they hammer home, oh, she's the most powerful character yet, it makes me just a little bit nervous. But so far, I like what I'm seeing. I'm not in love with this cover, though. Looks overly photoshopped to me. But I do like the suit. Suit gets a thumbs up. But let's go back to that tagline for a minute. The future is female. That makes me more nervous than anything I've seen here. The future is female? Really? Really? What does that line remind you of? Does it seem familiar to you at all? Do you feel like you've heard something like that somewhere before? Well, Maybe this will jog your memory. Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing some similarities here. The Force is female, the future is female. One would think that maybe they'd want to dial back on that, or at least find another way to word this so it's not so similar, since the Star Wars movies and Lucasfilm, under the quote-unquote leadership of Kathleen Kennedy, have been experiencing some backlash from the fans recently because of stuff like this. The Force is female. No, the Force is gender neutral, Kathleen. The Force has no gender, okay? The Force is an energy field created by all living things that surrounds us and penetrates us and binds the galaxy together. Get off my screen. So, similarly, the future is female. Is it? We have to put genders on everything now? Why does everything have to have a gender now? Why can't it just be, I don't know, the future is cosmic? You know, symbolizing Marvel's foray out into the Marvel cosmic universe, like they said they wanted to do in the next phase, right? Can it be something like that? Why do we have to put genders on everything now? Don't you realize you're kind of alienating people when you say that? You're kind of giving people a bad vibe when you say that, considering how toxic a lot of modern feminism is. I'm not naming any names. I'm not saying all feminists are like that. I'm just saying some people take this stuff way too far, and it sours a lot of other people on projects like this. I don't want to see that happen. I want to see this movie be a big success. I want it to be a really good movie. And when I see stuff like this, it just gives me a bad feeling. And now let's check out one last thing. All right, here's another article that I found. She can't help but be herself, Larson tells Entertainment Weekly. She can be aggressive, and she can have a temper. I like that. Shows that she's not perfect. Good shit, she's got a journey to undergo. She's got flaws. She's a real character. That's good. And she can be a little invasive and in your face. She's also quick to jump to things, which makes her amazing in battle because she's the first one out there and doesn't always wait for orders, but the not waiting for orders is, to some, a character flaw. Well, yeah, to some it would be a character flaw. In the military, not respecting the chain of command, not waiting for orders, is a big character flaw, Brie Larson. Okay, so it does sound like this attitude of Carol's will be portrayed in the film as a character flaw. I'm not necessarily sure that Brie Larson sees it that way. Yeah, we had to kind of expect that because, you know, Brie Larson is pretty well versed in this feminist agenda that we're seeing permeating Hollywood right now. But I don't have a problem with that as long as they make a good movie. You know, I don't care what her politics are. I enjoy Brie Larson and everything I've seen her in. You know, she was great in Kong Skull Island. That's fine. She's an actress I enjoy. As long as she leaves the politics out of it, I got no problem with Brie Larson. And I do like her as Captain Marvel. My first choice was Emily Blunt, but if we couldn't get Emily Blunt, I like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. This is not a superhero who's perfect or otherworldly or has some godlike connection, says Bowden, who is the MCU's first female director. Yeah, I noticed they interviewed her and not her male co-director. Interesting choice. I don't know why they had to exclude him. He's also directing the movie. But what makes her special is just how human she is. She's funny but doesn't always tell good jokes, and she can be headstrong and reckless and doesn't always make the perfect decisions for herself. But at her core, she has so much heart and so much humanity and all of its messiness. Okay. She's messy, she's funny, but not too funny. She can be headstrong and reckless, and doesn't always make the best decisions. So she's an imperfect hero, an imperfect character who has some personal work on herself to do. I like that. That's good. That's what I want to hear. She doesn't have to be perfect. I don't want her to be perfect. I want a flawed character. I want a real person, someone that I can relate to. And when I see stuff like this, it gives me hope. Not so much that the future is female. No, not that much. Not that. We can just put that aside. Leave the feminist stuff out of this and just make a good superhero movie. That's what Wonder Woman did. Turned out really well for them. You can have a strong female character. I want to see a strong female character, but I want to see a real person too. I have hope that this movie will give us that. Just leave the feminist stuff at home. Leave the politics at home. Just make a good movie. Marvel's been good about that up until this point, but there have been hints that they might be starting to go in the direction the comics have been going in, and I don't like that because the comics are at a pretty low point right now. This isn't the video to get into that, but Kevin Feige, you've been batting 1,000 so far. Just keep doing what you've been doing. You don't have to change up the formula. You don't have to change things up too much because it's working really well. Just take your first female-led film and apply all the stuff that worked for the male heroes. Just make a good movie. It's that simple. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the first official photos of Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to smash that bell icon to be notified when new videos get uploaded. I'll be back real soon with more content for you guys. So until then, over. Out.